This is my Roborowski dwarf, Toonie, and she hates me. Or does she? Let's talk about a question I'm asked about a lot, and that is, why does my hamster hate me? First off, it's important to remember that animals don't always possess the same type of emotions humans do. So if your hamster is displaying a behavior that makes you believe they hate you, it's usually due to factors such as fear, discomfort, or you just aren't familiar to them. For many, they might believe that their hamster hates them because they run away and hide from them, or if they try to interact with them, they might try to bite them. But this doesn't necessarily mean your hamster hates you. There might be several reasons for these reactions from your hamster. The first one being fear. You probably already know by now, but hamsters are prey animals and they are very low on the food chain. So it's wired in their brain that anything larger than them likely is a predator to them. So a big, smelly human is pretty terrifying to them, especially when we can sometimes be loud or make sudden movements. Fear could cause your hamster to run away, hide, scream, hiss, or even bite you as a defense to tell you, hey, I'm scared, I want to get away from whatever this is. Not socialized. Hamsters haven't been in the pet trade for very long. Syrian hamsters at most have been in the pet trade for about 100 years, whereas our smaller species, the Roborowski, has been in it for about 30 years. That's not long at all. This is why when you bring your hamster home for the first time, it's recommended that you let them settle in, because hamsters require a lot of time to adjust and gain your trust. This isn't something that most hamsters are going to just be used to unless they've already been socialized from a young age, which most of the time isn't the case. You're probably going to have to actually put in the work to get your hamster used to humans and help them to understand that you're not there to hurt them. This might include just doing things like sitting by the enclosure and getting them used to your voice, feeding them treats, things like that. Negative past experiences. If your hamster was ever mishandled or mistreated, they might associate that experience with future humans. Unfortunately, millions of hamsters every year have to endure mistreatment and neglect through the pet trade. If you're more curious about this, then I would recommend researching into rodent mills, but after you watch those videos, it's no wonder why hamsters react to humans the way they do. If this is the case with your hamster, you might need to put in some work to ensure that they feel comfortable and safe, and it might take a little bit longer to create a bond with your hamster because of those negative past experiences. Personality. Hamsters are individuals just like all animals, and each and every one is going to be different. So you could get a hamster that is naturally more shy and reserved, or you could get a hamster who is really outgoing and curious. This is why when somebody asks what's the best species of hamster to get, I don't really have a solid answer for anybody. Yes, there are certain stereotypes for each species, and some are more true than others. It really does come down to personality a lot of the times. Robos are known for being really timid and shy, but you could end up with a Robo who is the opposite of that. Syrian hamsters are supposed to be known as really friendly and easy to handle hamsters, but you could end up with a Syrian who is really hyperactive and hides from you all of the time. It depends on their personality. And genetics. In some cases, genetics can help play a role in determining a hamster's overall temperament. For example, hybrid dwarf hamsters have sometimes been observed to have sudden severe aggression issues due to the hybridization. It may also be worth noting that if your hamster is really aggressive towards you, there could be an underlying cause to this, because as we mentioned earlier, hamsters are prey animals, so this makes them superior at hiding any diseases or illnesses. Because in the wild, if a prey animal shows that they are sick, that makes them look weak, and predator animals are always going to go after the weakest because that is going to be the easiest catch for them. So a hamster is always going to try to hide that they are ill. So an underlying cause like an injury or sickness could cause your hamster to act out in aggression because they're in pain and they're trying to protect themselves. So it might be worth going to the vet to have them checked out. It's also important to remember that improper care of a hamster can cause a stressful environment, which could cause them to be fearful or even bite. Providing your hamster with a large cage, deep substrate, and lots of enrichment can play a key role in how your hamster interacts with you. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of people who assume that their hamster owes them something in return for meeting all of their needs. A lot of people ask, well, I've given my hamster a big cage, I give them lots of bedding, and I give them a lot of enrichment. Why don't they let me hold them? Because that's not how it works. Your hamster, and any pet for that matter, doesn't owe you anything in return for you giving them proper care. You as an owner agreed to that responsibility of properly caring for them and providing them with everything they need the minute you decided to bring them into your home. So they don't owe you anything, and they shouldn't be grateful that you give them food and water, because by law, that's what you're supposed to do when you have a pet. Because hamsters can end up being shy, not wanting to interact with humans, or even be aggressive towards humans, it's so important that if you are considering getting a hamster, you ask yourself, would I be okay if my hamster ended up like this? Would I be okay if I didn't get to see my hamster play in their enclosure? Would I be okay if I didn't get to handle my hamster ever? If you answer no to any of these questions, I would probably consider getting a different pet. And I say those things not because I don't want anyone to own hamsters or that I think hamsters are bad pets, but I say these things because more than often enough, hamsters with those attributes end up getting rehomed, or even worse, they just get left at home and neglected because they weren't what the owner was expecting. It might seem like I only ever talk about hamsters negatively, but I'm just being honest and telling you the realities of hamsters. They are not pets for everyone, and I just don't want somebody to end up getting a pet that they later on regret. In conclusion, do I believe Toonie hates me? No. Just because she doesn't like human interaction and rarely ever lets me see her doesn't mean she hates me. And even if she did, I wouldn't really be offended by it because I'm the one who decided to bring her into my home. She didn't choose to live here. Hate is also such a strong word and more of a human emotion to have, and I don't personally believe hamsters really hate. They can have their likes and dislikes, but to go as far as to say that your hamster hates you, it's really likely not the case, and it's probably one of the reasons we mentioned in today's video. So I hope that's able to answer that question that a lot of people often have, and if you feel that your hamster hates you, please don't take it in offense because they don't actually mean it. Thanks for watching today's video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!